Sunday, May 9th now. Been moving equipment all day out here east of Dallas. It is 84 degrees and it is so humid, I'm about to die. Fat boys do not like humidity. This video is for Nissan Guy Truck Review. I'm in my 2020 K5500 four-wheel drive crew cab, long bed, Allison automatic, 19.5 tires, 19,500 pound GVW. We're pulling a 32-foot, 23.9K Big Tex with fold-over ramps. Well, it'd be like the mega ramps, I guess, on a Big Tex. It's been a good trailer. Don't pull it that much. Just use it to move the big skid steer. Just loaded up and left. I'm leaving the last RV park project we built. Been waiting on the landscape guys to finish. I'm kind of to the point now that there's some rock in the driveways and stuff where they don't have their edging finished and things like that. I scratched them up a pile and they can use a wheelbarrow to finish it because I've got other things to do. So I've been waiting on these guys since Thanksgiving of last year. If you can fathom that. We've done our pre-trip inspection already. Pulling out of the entrance. We've got a 60-mile drive back to Sherman to drop this machine off. Have to be in there, dropped off, and back out by 5 p.m. So a little bit about this 5500. I bought it last May. I had a 1-ton dually and we kind of needed to get rid of a few vehicles, so we traded in 3 and got 2. Traded in my wife's Traverse and an Equinox that I was kind of driving back and forth when I was working for the oil field company, save on some gas, and then traded in my dually, and we got this truck and we got her new Tahoe. So a little swapping around, you know, just kind of eliminate some stuff that I wasn't going to be needing anymore and things like that. Like I said, you know, it's 5500. It's got a 12-foot CM flatbed on it with 4 boxes. It's a pretty good truck in my opinion. I've pulled this big trailer to South Texas and back with it. It seems to do okay. I'm thinking I probably should have taken a different road because this has railroad tracks, but I bet we can get across it without too much trouble. Old trailer rides pretty low. It's a pierced frame, so it sits real low. I think the deck height's like 34 inches. Everybody wants to back out in the road in front of you when you're coming, you know. Don't worry about 80 feet of truck, just back out in front of them. But you know, from the factory, the 5500 had a speed limiter set at 75 miles an hour. I live in Texas. The speed limit is 75 miles an hour, and in a lot of places it's 80. Out there on I-20 west of Midland, Odessa, headed to El Paso, it's 80 miles an hour, almost all the way to El Paso, I think. Been a while since I've been out there. You know, it just pretty much would fall on its face at 75. So I told the story about that deal in another video. I think it was the April update maybe. But you know, we got that problem fixed to where it'll run 80 now. The truck gets good mileage, you know, 10 pulling a trailer, 9 to 10 pulling a trailer, 13, 14 empty, which is really good for a truck this big. It has Warren locking hubs, which I really like. The four-wheel drive is not useless like you would think in a truck this big. It's actually pretty good. I've gotten myself out of a couple of pretty good mud situations more than once trying to pull this trailer. it will pull itself out, which is pretty good. You know, it's heavy. I think empty it's 13,280 pounds. I had to weigh it to get the tags. The state of Texas has to have a weight, so it's heavy. With this bed on it, and it rides like, I don't know, if Sherwin-Williams paint made a car, I would imagine that it rode like this. It's just rough. You really have to put some weight on it to get it to ride decent. You know, empty, it will jar your insides loose. But you know, it's a work truck. Vinyl floor with rubber floor, vinyl seats. I'd like to have carpet seats, but you know, this is just a bare bones work truck. Power windows, power locks, driver seats manual, passenger seats manual. It has upfitter switches, has engine brake. It has the better radio than just the WT, which I do like. It does have Wi-Fi hotspot, which does come in handy. If I'm somewhere where I need some phone service, I can use that. It's AT&T, and I run Verizon on the phone, so you know, it works sometimes where Verizon doesn't. Been pretty happy with Chevy's Wi-Fi hotspots. They work pretty good. I would like to have satellite radio, but again, it's a work truck. I don't drive it that much. It's taken me a year to put 6,000 miles on it. I just refrain from driving it just for the sole fact that it is, you know, it abides by every code of federal regulation, DOT law there is. It's over 26,000 gross combined weight. I'll have to run a DOT number, commercial insurance, have to have a Class A CDL. You have to know load securement. I mean, it's, you know, it's not a big truck, but it's just one step under a big truck, just no air brakes on it. It's a hydraulic brake, which, truck this big, probably should have put air brake on it, but I didn't design it and they didn't ask me. You know, the hydraulic brake, it's the Chevy Hydra Boost. It's probably the same thing that's in the one-ton pickups. And, you know, with a lot of weight behind it and as big as it is, you really kind of have to bear down on it to, you know, get it to stop, and just hope nobody pulls out in front of you. But it runs a 430 rear gear, 350 horse, 700 torque, so it's derated a little bit from a regular consumer pickup. But the gearing more than makes up for it. It will pull, and it will get down and dirty and pull. I like it. It's a pretty good truck. It's a pretty cool truck. I'll get some interior shots of it whenever I get stopped up here at the job site. Got 19.5s on it, four-wheel drive, Warren locking hubs. It's got a 12-foot CM flatbed on it with 4 boxes, recessed gooseneck ball with a door, fire extinguisher, ice chest, spare tire. It's a tilt forward hood, which I really like. Carry over from semi trucks. It's pretty easy to just pick it up with one hand. It's got a bug screen in the grill, which you can see is pretty well caked with bugs. It's got the big industrial air cleaner on it. All your fill stuff's right here. I like that. Hood prop for safety purposes. You know, I mean, everything's just right here to work on it. You can cut the wheels one way or the other and pretty much get to everything. You know, I really like that aspect of it. You know, transmission dipstick, engine dipstick over here, and then all the good emission stuff that runs the engines. You know, government sticking their nose and everything. Hood latch, hood safety. pusher closed. Now it's got the big flow through bow tie on the front, which, you know, I mean, that would actually block a considerable amount of air, so I'm glad they did that. The depth fill is right here on the passenger side front fender. You know, if you're going to put it there, put it on the driver's side front fender, because you're going to pull through that way to get fuel. But, you know, got to put it somewhere. At least it's not under the hood. That's my major gripe about Chevy trucks, the depth under the hood. It uses the same body, or the same cab as the 14 through 19 models. I mean, it's identical. The interior is just a straight up work truck. You know, rubber floor, vinyl seats, electronic logging device. You know, that way they know where I'm at all the time. It's good stuff. Government keeps track of everybody. The four-wheel drive is up here, like in the, you know, I'd rather have a manual four-wheel drive, but, you know, it is what it is. It has auxiliary upfitter switches right there, an engine brake, traction control, all that kind of good stuff. And then, you know, I watched another video. Back up in here somewhere is the hookup for all the auxiliary stuff. You know, I don't know about that. I wish they'd have had it all pre-wired in. You have to buy a special plug to put in it. Now, I wish it had been pre-wired in, so, you know, where I just had to find the connector under the body and tap into it, but that's okay. You know, it's got the receiver hitch on the back, 3-inch, or I mean, sorry, 2.5-inch receiver. I don't know why I said 3, because it's got a 3-inch drop, that's why. At least they put all LED lighting on it. I was happy to see that. You know, everything's LED. You know, Warlock and hubs. My big complaint about these 19.5s is these are tall, skinny tires, and this truck really needs some flotation tires up front, because if it finds a groove in the highway, it will pull the steering wheel out of your hands to stay in that groove, because the tires are so skinny. You know, they like the double stack headlights. It looks good. You know, everything's big and beefy, big long front leaf springs. You know, everything's super beefy, the steering arms, everything. I like all of that. Battery box is right here with a jump start stud. I like that. The transfer case hangs down just so far. I mean, if you're gonna hang up on something, that's where it's gonna be. Same thing with the steering link up here. It hangs down way far, but I mean, it's got to go somewhere, I guess. You know, it's a nice truck. The back seat's full of junk, so, you know, it's vinyl seats everywhere. I'd like to have cloth, but I bought what was on the lot. Like I said, the interior is identical to, you know, what's in your 14 to 20 year model trucks. It does have Wi-Fi. You know, it does have the nice mirror in it, which, you know, the auto darkening mirror, I like that. You know, it has provisions for a cab beacon warning lamp, which I like. You know, it has a lot of cool stuff. I actually never noticed that before. I guess that's what that is, probably. You know, rooftop LEDs, I imagine, because these are a vocational truck. You know, power windows, power locks. You know, it's a pretty cool truck. It rides like a lumber wagon. It's horrible, but you put, you know, a big gooseneck on it and a skid steer on it, and it rides a lot better. I don't know if the 6500s or do air ride suspensions. If they would go air ride suspension and air brake on this truck, it would be perfect for what I do. I would really like the ability to air down. I would really like the ability to air down the rear suspension back under a gooseneck instead of having to jack it up 10 feet in the air to get under it, because this truck sits up so high in the back. You know, I'd like that, because in a semi you can dump your air, slide under your fifth wheel, and air your bags back up, and you know, get the weight off your landing gear. Makes it easier. I'd like to see that on this truck. I know Kelderman makes an air ride system for it. To do the whole truck, it was like $15,000. So, you know, I'd love to have it, but that's $15,000 that I could spend somewhere else for a truck that I don't drive every day. If I drove it every day, I would figure that out, and I would already have that done, because it will. Just driving it for 8 or 9 hours, like to South Texas, you are worn out from just all day long. You know, but you know, for what I do, Chevy hit the mark on this with this partnership with Navistar. You know, it's the same thing as one of the Navistar trucks, International. They really did hit their mark for somebody like me. Engine's got plenty of power. It's familiar. I know what to expect from it. The Allison automatic is pretty flawless. The high gear ratio in the rear end, I like. It gives it plenty of power. It'll run 70, 75 with a load, no problem. I would like to see more horsepower, but I understand why they derate it, so that, I mean, if you put this in a fleet, guys, you know, stuff that has a lot of power, they just tear it up. They do. And that's what these trucks are for, is for, you know, service applications, mechanic trucks, boom trucks for the power company. You know, they're not 100% designed to do what I'm doing with it, but I needed the additional load capacity over a 1-ton pickup. I like the wider stance. I like the extra suspension. I like the 19.5 tires. The 4-wheel drive, you know, and for what I do, it works great. So, like I said, I would buy another one of these. I'd try to buy one that maybe had cloth seats, because these the old vinyl gets you sweating pretty good after a long hot day. But other than that, it's a nice truck. So, you know, it's not a Western hauler, but I don't use all those features. I don't need a sunroof. I don't need everything in here with power and remote with 10 different cameras. I don't need it. Oh, it does have a backup camera, which is handy for backing up bumper pulls. Like, if I had to pick one camera that I wanted on something, it would be a backup camera. As it just makes it faster to hook up a trailer by yourself. Not that you can't do it by looking out the mirror, judging your width on both sides of your truck. That's how I did it forever. I didn't actually own a truck that had a backup camera until 2019, so, you know, you can hook a trailer up using your mirrors. Same thing with a gooseneck, just watching your mirrors and just kind of remember how far back you have to be, you know, over your bed to the front of your trailer, and you know, you can get within a few inches every time by yourself. But, you know, that's my honest opinion of the truck. Got 6,000 miles on it. I've had it a year. Yes, the roof does have hail damage. If you caught any of that in one of the videos, it looks like somebody worked it over with a ball peen hammer. We had 2.5-inch diameter hail at home one day. I was in another state working, and my wife couldn't get it under the carport. So it, you know, it didn't do anything to the hood. The hood's fiberglass, but it really worked the top of the cab over, and I mean hard. It's got some big, ugly dents in it. But, you know, the truck is tall. There's only 1 or 2 dents that I can notice that aren't exactly on the top, so I don't worry about it. It's just not worth hauling it to a body shop and having it in it, 'cause it'd probably be like a cab replacement, and I'm just not, you know, when I need the truck, I need it to be here. And I've actually been using it a lot more lately. The Red Z71 that I have also, it needs rear springs, because it's pulled trailers almost its entire life. And it really needs, it rides on the overloads most of the time now, so it really needs rear springs. So I'm trying to ease up all the pulling that I was doing with it and transfer it to this truck, because that's what this truck is for. But, you know, you have a different rule set to abide by. That's a single rear wheel 1-ton, put a 14K trailer behind it. I'm under commercial limit, so I don't have to run DOT numbers, nothing, nobody cares. This truck, 19.5 GVW with a 23.9 trailer, I'm 43.4 gross. Obviously, so that's DOT numbers. You know, that's triangles, that's fire extinguisher up to date, that's commercial inspections.